La pace sia con tutti voi.
Kind of pick somebody in the middle that is going to try to say, how do we come to a sense of unity?
Being here during this conclave is a miracle.
Well, it didn't take long, and when all that white smoke you see right there cleared earlier this afternoon in Rome, we learned that not only was there a new pope, but we're now witnessing history, the first American pope, and tonight it's the era of Pope Leo XIV. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. That selection making history. The new leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics is an American, breaking a long taboo against a pope from the U.S. ABC's Patrick Reevell is in Vatican City with more.
Cheers from the crowd below as Pope Leo XIV made his first appearance on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. Moments before the announcement in Latin that we have a new pope.
Habemus Papam.
Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost of Chicago, elected to be the 267th pope. White smoke rising above the Sistine Chapel this afternoon, signaling that on the second day of the conclave, the cardinals reached that two-thirds majority necessary to select the new pope. The crowd behind me has been cheering, going jubilant, just celebrating. You can hear them roaring behind me now, applauding and cheering. You can hear the bells of St. Peter's Basilica chiming. That means we do have a pope. The world has a new pope. Today, the 69-year-old wearing his papal vestments, addressing the faithful for the first time as pope, delivering his first blessing and saying, "Peace be with you."
La pace sia con voi.
Emphasizing peace several times. He also mentioned Pope Francis twice, saying he wants to pick up where he left off. The selection making history. He will be the first pontiff from the United States.
Again, to have the Pope from the United States of America, that's a great honor.
There's been a long taboo on naming an American pope, given the geopolitical power already wielded by the United States.
He has been described as the least American of the Americans.
Pope Francis brought Prevost to the Vatican in 2023 to head the office that vets bishop nominations from around the world, one of the most important jobs in the Catholic Church. People in the crowd waving flags, a young girl brought to tears, others feeling lucky they were there to witness history.
So unbelievable that I'm here right now. I'm here for one day only, and I have the opportunity to be something that's part of world history.
A huge moment, people here still digesting it, but for the first time in its 2,000-year history, the Catholic Church will be led by an American. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, Vatican City.
And we have local reaction to the selection of this pope. Coming up at 5:30, the priest of St. John Vianney in South Louisville will be with us.
Can't wait for that. But first, WHAS11's Jose Alonso has been talking with the Archbishop of Louisville late this afternoon about the choice. And Jose, you asked him about the quick nature of this selection and what it means for solidarity for the church.
Doug, Connie, yeah, he said this was a surprise to him, but it does represent the solidarity within the church, as he believes the Cardinals came together and kind of had a presumption of who they wanted them to lead next. And he also told me, that's Archbishop Shelton Fabre, telling me that he didn't believe he'd live to see this day. What he means by that is he didn't believe he'd see a pope coming out of the United States of America. Right now, we're coming to you live in the Highlands on Bardstown Road at St. Francis of Assisi Church, where they're going to be hosting a mass tonight later at 5:30. So within the next 30 minutes, we're hoping to catch some Catholic worshipers out here as well. But taking it to some of that video that we have from yesterday, we spoke with the St. John Vianney Church, Catholic Church in South Louisville, where people were telling me they hope the next pope would hold their values, continue to be progressive, and also make history. And then the moment everyone was waiting for, Robert Francis Prevost, 69 years old, embracing the world as Pope Leo XIV. Louisville Catholics, like the Archbishop, were watching closely. And I asked him, again, does this mean there's solidarity within the church on how quick they got to this moment?
The first words out of Pope Leo XIV's mouth as Pope was to the world was, "Peace be with you." And if you listened to what he then went on to share, he emphasized bridge building, he emphasized dialogue, he emphasized inclusivity, and I think all of those are very important elements for him.
Yes, exactly. And again, we did ask the bishop another question as well in regards to how quickly this went. And he says he believes the cardinals in Rome, they saw in this pope what they saw in the late Pope Francis as well, as he has those gifts and those qualities. And again, yesterday we were there in South Louisville speaking to the Vietnamese Catholics about who they want to see represent them. They said they wanted someone who's going to uphold their values while also being progressive and make history. Well, guess what? Today history was made, as Pope Leo XIV is the first one to be named out of the United States of America. And the Archbishop also told me they're going to host a celebratory Mass. That's going to be coming up this Monday at 6 o'clock, and we plan to be there. I hope to see y'all there too. Reporting live in the Highlands, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 on your side.
All right, Jose, thank you. Excellent coverage all around. Jose, they're very nice and green.
Yeah.
Louisville's become one green city, folks. And we might have extra leaves to be raking in the fall time a little later.
If only it wasn't storming in other parts of the viewing area, Mallory.
Yes, I know. We need the rain, but not as much rain as we've seen so far this spring. However, take a look at the radar behind me. Still very active. We are getting some breaks, as you saw from Jose's shot, getting some dry time now in the Louisville area. But you can tell we do have showers and thunderstorms very scattered in nature across the entire region here. And if we take a look at just these severe thunderstorm warnings, we don't actually have any currently in the Kentuckiana viewing area, but we have had some throughout the afternoon due to some large hail, anywhere between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. A lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings more so down to the south throughout Tennessee, also North Carolina, southern Kentucky, and down into Mississippi as well. Zooming in closer to home, we do have, as you can see, a lot of lightning strikes still. So even if these storms aren't severe, they may pack a punch with some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, small hail, and lightning. The storm that we were watching over Louisville is now moving into Oldham County. You can see east of Anchorage up into LaGrange as well. Did have a history of some small hail in southern Indiana around Jeffersonville, and also some heavy rainfall as well. Down to the south, this is what I was talking about, where we have had some storm reports within those severe thunderstorm warnings earlier in the afternoon for hailstones the size of $50 up to golf balls in some spots. And this is where we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place through 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That's pretty much where we're seeing the highest number of any kind of severe thunderstorm warnings. We will hold this rain chance for the next few hours through about sunset. Once that sun does set, we lose that fuel for thunderstorms, we lose that daytime heating, and the radar becomes a lot quieter overnight with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies and low temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Looking a lot quieter Friday through the weekend. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up in just a bit.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mallory. Today in Bardstown, Brooks Houck, the main suspect in the Crystal Rogers case, appeared in court for the first time in 10 months.
The trials in this case are set to begin later this month. Attorneys are now working out exactly who's qualified to testify. Our Shane McAllister and photojournalist Jessica Farley have the report from Nelson County today.
It is said to be one of the most high-profile criminal trials in Kentucky history, and now it is just 6 weeks away. Today in court, we learned who could be called to testify in this trial and exactly what they could be saying.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Brooks Houck, the suspected killer in the Crystal Rogers case, has been in custody for 589 days. He was arrested in September of 2023, and despite multiple requests for a lower bond, he's been held behind bars on $10 million since then. Now, with his trial fast approaching, just 6 weeks away, attorneys and the prosecutor are disagreeing on the details.
So there are not going to be any opinions on what the Nelson County Sheriff's Office work, the FBI, or KSP did.
We're going to talk about what they did.
Special Prosecutor Shane Young asked the judge for this hearing to discuss the experts Houck's team plans to use in trial, including a former homicide detective and an interrogation expert.
If he has an opinion that should be done this way, then they need to provide that opinion and the basis for the opinion.
These two experts appear to be lined up to talk about what investigators did and didn't do early on in the investigation, such as interrogation techniques and what evidence they collected and how.
For example, we talked about blood, where law enforcement would look for blood, how it's collected.
With the evidence and discovery sealed in this case, this is the first time those of us outside of the legal teams are getting a look at what could come up when Brooks Houck sits in front of a jury. One thing was made clear: one of his co-defendants will not be called to the stand.
I'm not calling Steve Lawson as a witness.
As for who is called as a witness in this case, we may have to wait until opening statements to find out. Today in court, the judge seemed to be agreeing with Houck's attorney, saying they don't need to be providing any additional expert outside of what they have already provided, but he did say he would make a final decision after the weekend. In Nelson County, I'm Shay McAllister, WHAS 11 on your side.
The first trial in this case is Steve Lawson. That trial is scheduled to begin later this month on May 27th in Warren County. That's Bowling Green.
Well, cleanup is underway after a small train hopped off the track in eastern Jefferson County. It happened around 8 this morning near the Gene Snyder Freeway at the LaGrange Road exit near the Kroger. Now, right now you can see equipment moving the train off the tracks. No word on any injuries. That cause is still under investigation tonight.
Also here tonight at 5 o'clock, the former Owensboro Public School Superintendent sentenced today for exploiting children. 52-year-old Matthew Constant was indicted by a federal jury in August last year with several charges of enticement of a minor and sexual exploitation there in Owensboro. In July of 2023, he was also arrested for having an inappropriate relationship with a student. In court yesterday, he gave a statement expressing his remorse. His defense was asking for 20 years. But Constant was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison, and in the federal prison system, there is no parole.
I just kind of thought one of these days I'm going to come and the door's going to be open or the window's going to be busted. I didn't think they would do that and then burn my building down.
The owners of a plant shop in Pewee Valley suspect arson. The cottage at Tingle's Plants and Produce caught fire early this morning, but the plant stand is still open. As our Ian Hardwick found out, a security camera captured someone leaving the antique shop 3 hours earlier.
A full load of flowers arrived at Tingle's Plants and Produce in Pewee Valley on Highway 146, 8 hours after the cottage antique shop out back caught fire around 4 a.m. Pewee Valley Fire Department provided this photo of the blaze firefighters put out. They say it took 45 minutes.
My brain still hurts.
Vicki and Tim Tingle run both, and they're still open.
Tim has a rare terminal illness called multiple system atrophy.
Their love for growing made the business bloom, but the heat killed half their plants.
Hi for what we have here.
Spring flowers they wanted to find homes for this Mother's Day, one of their busiest weekends.
And now that I see it all, it breaks my heart.
And the heartbreak runs deeper. Vicki suspects whoever showed up in this security video 3 hours before the fire was responsible for the blaze that tore through the cottage's floor and ceiling.
There's too many coincidences. Yeah. Considering they came into the tent and money's missing out of the drawer.
But she keeps hearing the same question.
Is there anything we can do for you?
And the help has arrived.
They're good friends to me, so I just have to help them out. It's what you do when people are in need of help.
And while Tingle told us one of the best ways to help her out is to buy some flowers ahead of one of their busiest weekends, Mother's Day weekend, Crestwood Mercantile is also accepting donations on her behalf.
Everybody knows about Vicki's, so it's just devastating to drive by and see that. She is the hardest working woman I have ever met.
Already making sales.
35, we'll take 35, yes.
Giving flowers that home.
Sorry I don't have any zucchini though.
In Pewee Valley, Ian Hardwick, WHAS 11 on your side.
And today was Vicki Tingle's birthday. She's open through this weekend, including Mother's Day Sunday. The Oldham County Arson Task Force is investigating this fire.